Okay. We are ready to get started. So thank you everyone for being here. This is September 10th, 2025. This is the Interstate Commission for EMS Personnel Practice, and it is our executive committee meeting, our regular scheduled meeting. So welcome to everyone, and I will call on Commissioner House as our secretary for roll call.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Kenny.
Present.
Commissioner Denny. Commissioner House is present. Commissioner Vandeloon.
Present.
Commissioner Kaler. And Commissioner Schmieder.
Present.
You do have 4, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I would note that our executive director, Donnie Woodyard, has earned a vacation, is taking a nice vacation out of the country. He sent me a picture right before this, a beautiful sunset over there. So hopefully recharging. I'm not sure he ever stops working, but at least he's enjoying some time off. We don't have a heavy agenda. The agenda has been posted on our website. We have a few prep things, so we elected to go ahead and do this meeting. And so first of all, I will open it to any matters that are not on the agenda. I will be discussing, we had received an email. We are going to discuss a compliance issue with the state during the chair's report, and that would be regarding Oklahoma. And so we will have that discussion. And that's the only thing that I wanted to divulge that is not specifically listed on the public agenda. So. Next item is the August 2025 meeting summary that was emailed out by Donnie. Recognize Secretary House.
Yeah, so I was actually not present. I was excused for the August 25
right.
meeting, but it was provided to us. I did review it. I did listen to the audio, and it does match what I listened to there as well. So I will put that forth for the body.
Okay. I'll take that as a motion to approve the meeting summary and post on our website. Is there a second?
I second it, Commissioner Vandeloon.
Thank you, Commissioner Vandeloon with the second on that. I will note that I was present and I did review it, and I believe it is accurate as well. I do not have any concerns, any questions, comments, or corrections on it before we accept it. Any of the exec committee in opposition to accepting the meeting summary and posting it on our website? Any abstentions? We will show that approved and ready to be posted on our website. Thank you. We'll recognize Commissioner Vandeloon for Treasurer's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The previous balance on 8/1 was $127,727.67. We had 3 debits, one on the 1st, one on the 15th, and one on the 29th, for $6,425.00 each. And then we had a reimbursement for travel for $4,113.77, bringing the balance as of 9/1 to $104,338.90. We didn't have any credits this month.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions? I would just add, to understand the process, when Donnie submits, he submits all documentation. As the chairperson, then I am the one that authorizes it, but both Brad and I review that, see if there's any discrepancies. Like this month seemed a little high at $4,100 on travel reimbursement, but that covered 3 different trips. And so, and it also does include like monthly expenses, like a phone account, things of that nature. And so just for background information. Okay, we're up to the chair's report. And Donnie did not submit. I did go through and I had a few highlights from him. that I wanted to cover because a lot of times we have overlapping any as well. Donnie continues to work with National Registry on trying to be engaged in both collaboration and trying to move forward with our website functions. Of course, that right now they are transitioning with their new system, the CAR system. And so there's been a lot of challenges, as the state officials know. So that's been a little bit paused. The one positive news we did receive is Donnie had applied with our approval for the NDMS, National Center for, sorry, it was through the actual NCDMPH is who is applied through. And with that, we have gradually progressed on that. And so the latest update on that is that it is still on track and going through different approval levels. So we do not have a final approval, but that would be, honestly, would be a lot of money for the website upgrades that we really need to make NIMSKID more functional and potential expansion of it in the future. Donnie continues to travel. He also is answering a lot of inquiries. We're getting a lot of inquiries. I had several from my state, people wanting to know where we are with integration and how to use the privilege to practice. And so that seems to be a bulk of the time. Moving on to mine, I know that we will have our exec committee meeting in October, and I'll remind everyone then, but we kind of are fully planning for EMS World Expo. We'll be in our backyard the third week of October. So if any of you will be in town, love to catch up with you. That looks to be, it is always a great event. I've attended for 20 years. I know I've seen several others of you here. I see Joe several times. And so we welcome you to the Hoosier State for that. With that, I think that completes what I had to highlight. Any questions about Donnie's activity or my report? Okay, we'll go ahead and recognize Commissioner Schmieder for an update on the Rules and Bylaws Committee.
Good afternoon, everyone. So as you know, there is proposed bylaw rules. The announcement went out. There needs to be a correction on one of the dates. We'll fix that as soon as Donnie gets back and then resend it out. Just a friendly reminder that the bylaws call for you to advertise any bylaw amendments in your normal process to your stakeholders. So we'll get that out to you with get the correct date on it and get that out to you. But we had to put something out to match up the days, the 60 days notice. I think it's 60 days before any kind of amendments. And what we're going to be proposing is some new definitions. We're going to be adding a section 4.7 talking about qualified license, provisional practices, and not qualified licensees. We're going to start breaking that out. Section 5 is conditions of practice in a remote state. And then section 13 has been updated to when there's a dispute with a state meeting the compliance requirements. So I say that as a teaser. At next month's meeting, we'll go into this all in depth. I didn't want to do it today without Donnie here because, as you know, Donnie's pretty instrumental in this process. But the committee's been working really hard on this, and we're ready to push these things forward. I don't think it'll be very controversial. Doug Wolfberg and Christy have looked at it also, and we've adjusted from legal's input some of the language in here. But anyway, so the plan is that we'll review with the exec committee next month, and then we'll have a session for all the states sometime in October, November before the meeting, just so like we did the last time we did some rules amendments. We had a session opened up to everybody just to come in and ask questions, so that when we do get to the formal meeting, it won't be we won't spend hours and hours answering questions. We'll get a good education up front. So So as I said, a friendly reminder that you're going to need to advertise it through your normal processes of upcoming amendments. You should have received that whole packet already. We just got to fix a date. We'll get that out there and get that fixed soon. And I think with that, I don't have anything else, Greg, unless you have anything for me.
Thank you. Thank you for the hard work on that. And the date change, if you do have the documents, it calls for any written comments to be submitted by August 31st. And so when we posted that, well, that would have given you, I think Joe figured 2 days. So that was not the intent. We have our rulemaking meeting will be in November. So we're assuming it's October 31st. And so that's what we'll get corrected and get out. I will say I'm very pleased with the work. Well, I've sat on the committee, but we have this product. We had a very productive meetings with, and first of all, email discussion, and then we actually had a lengthy meeting going through this with Doug and Christy and kind of reviewing the changes. And so I think it'll be positive. We elected to go ahead. Donnie had asked me, we elected with it. We feel we are 90% there, possibly even, 100%. But we wanted to get it posted because when it comes to the exec committee and the public comments, we realize it might get modified, but we have this substantial document and we've met our compliance. So I think it's going to be a lot of positive things. I think you guys will be excited to see. So hopefully be on for our October meeting when Joe and Donnie break it down a lot more. So thank you for the strong work. Any questions of Joe or myself right now on this? Okay. Criminal Convictions Committee, any update, Commissioner Jones?
Yes, we had our second meeting a couple weeks ago and we got back 16 responses for the survey at that time. So we sent out another email. Really need all of the 25 states to participate in that, so that way we can have good data to go by. But the data we did collect so far is actually giving us some really interesting results. So hopefully once we get the rest of those in, we'll be able to compile that and start coming up with some guidelines.
Had Donnie updated you, after the letter went out, if we've gotten any more? I forgot to ask him.
I have not heard anything from him since the letter went out.
Okay. So yeah, we worked on a letter and we elected to send out under my name. And Donnie and I worked out the language to try to hopefully get compliance from those remaining states. So if you are one that have not, please consider doing so because we really do need all that information. So thank you for your work and your committee, Commissioner Jones.
No problem. Thank you.
Stakeholder Advisory Committee. We met. Commissioner Kaler was preoccupied. I can't believe Donnie excused him. He had something like a honeymoon or something of that nature. So
where's his priorities? I mean, come on.
I know, exactly. So I usually try to sit in on those. So I actually, Donnie and I handled that. And it was this good discussion. We discussed some of where we're headed, some of the rules, and it was interesting to hear feedback from the stakeholders. We had, it wasn't a strong attendance as earlier meetings, but it was still had a good represented portion and good discussion. So I'm glad to see that Stakeholder Advisory Committee is proceeding. I think it is adding value as we had hoped it would. Executive Director's report, as I stated, we do not have one without Donnie on. And so we will move on to the National EMS Coordinated Database and recognize Ray.
Good afternoon. I didn't submit to Donnie because I knew he was out of country, but I did throw it in the chat for this month's report. I am happy to say that we do have 28,000 new licenses, greater than 28,000, with the addition of Arkansas and Tennessee licenses in the coordinated database. In the testing environment, nothing new with Delaware, but Nebraska, Indiana, and South Dakota have been continuing to test, and hopefully they can turn on their they can enter into the production, into the coordinated database, actual database. Still nothing from Oklahoma or Pennsylvania. Probably needs some discussion here somewhere, and that might come up in the compliance discussion that comes later. But barring any questions, really that's all I have for today.
Thank you. Any questions for Ray? He did remind me, and somehow I neglected, we did get a memo about Oklahoma. We had their commissioner, Tashier, if I'm pronouncing correctly, had attended and introduced at our commission meeting, I believe in May. And then we have not heard from him much since. Donnie was able to schedule an orientation, but then he did not show up. And we have not had any improvement on either the background checks or otherwise. I have seen several inquiries from their state. Oklahoma did answer one of them and had a very nice response. It was from a staffer. But we also have some, broader issues where people are concerned in Oklahoma about the implementation. I elected this morning to email directly to Commissioner, one-on-one saying, hey, this has been brought to our attention and what is kind of your intent? And I did share that with the exec committee. I'm open to next steps on recommendation. We can have a discussion. Donnie wondered if we then ping some other officials. Do we give, obviously it's just the same day. So I would like to give the commissioner, at least a day or two to respond to my email. But other than that, any thoughts on how to proceed on this issue? And I think Commissioner Smeater, I think you had a recommendation. So I will go to you first if you would like.
Sure. And I would, my two-part recommendation, the first part would be, I would give him to next week to respond, only because in case he's on vacation or something right now. That seems to be a fair thing to do it. But if you didn't hear anything by next week, I recommend that we send a letter to the Department of Health, who oversees the office there. If in 10 days we don't get a response from them, then we send a letter to the governor, to the Speaker of the House, and the Speaker of the Senate, and just make them aware of it. But I don't know what else you can do. I mean, I think it's important, and I will say from a state of Texas standpoint, we have a lot of Oklahoma on our border, and we have people that want to take advantage of this practice. So that would be my recommendation.
Other thoughts from the exec committee?
Greg, nothing additional. I just echo what Joe mentioned, and for the same reasons. And we do share a lot of Oklahoma as well. So I think it's a very great, it's a well thought out approach, and something I think that would work very well.
I asked for the exec committee, any opinions from the other commissioners that are on the call? I will take that as anything you want to add, Doug, from a compliance perspective, from legal.
No, there's, the idea with compliance issues with the member state is kind of a remedial, work with the state as much as you can before any type of real escalation or formal determinations of non-compliance, that sort of thing. So I think, your approach and what Commissioner Smeater was mentioning is a good incremental approach to, escalate it in that remedial, spirit.
Thank you. I will take the advice of Commissioner Smeater and everyone that has commented. I will work with Donnie. We will make that our plan, and then he will be back. Once he's back, then that will give time for Commissioner Tashier to respond, And then if he is not, then we will proceed per that plan. So I will probably recommend that Donnie, when he do that, that it be signed by both of us, come from him as well as me, since the exec committee did look at this to kind of show that it's representative of what the commissioners think as well as the administrative staff. So thank you, everyone. Yes.
And Craig, while we're talking about that, my heart's in Pennsylvania, but we're not seeing much action there either from what I heard from Ray's report. I wonder if we need to formally, now I know Anthony does come to meetings and stuff, but I wonder if we need to send a formal letter saying, okay, what's going on? I'm not trying to be a jerk about this, but the whole database and everything that we do is so important, and it's the foundation of what we do. So I just want to raise that while we're talking about it.
Okay, I will write a note and I will follow up with Donnie on that, because I know he went there and he recently spoke at a conference that he had sent to me. And I know he's had interactions with the staff, and I will ask him to be able to report on that for the October exec committee meeting, see where we stand there as well.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts or questions? Okay, we will move on to new business. We do have the third quarter commission meeting, and that is at the bottom of the agenda there. And the exec committee will meet October 8th, and then we'll also meet on November 5th. And then we will go into November 5th. Will also be the full commission meeting. And so we'll see if we merge those or whether we do them back to back, depending on the needs that we have. And so the big ticket items that we have are going to be the rulemaking. So, and I appreciate Commissioner Smeeter, and I know he and Donnie will work out those education sessions, which a lot of times allow comment and also allow for, members to fully understand the implications of the rules. So look forward to seeing those. We will have elections, and the election showing for this cycle as an odd number year are going to be the vice chairperson and the secretary. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate you being on here. The vice chair and the secretary are up for election. A lot of times we have the secretary I have asked to do the nominating committee, but I will not ask that this time, since that is one of the positions. And I am wondering, and sorry to put you on the spot, I'm wondering if Commissioner Schmieder would be willing to do that as the immediate past chair.
Sure, no problem at all. It was vice chair and secretary?
Correct.
Okay.
Craig, I was just going to let you know I am not eligible to run.
Okay.
I've met my term limit, so.
For secretary.
Yep.
Okay. And I have no idea on Wayne, I believe is eligible to run. I do not know his intent on the vice chair. I will ask Donnie to get messaging, and or Joe can work with him, but between the three of us, we'll get messaging out to all commissioners. I know we have a few commissioners on the call today. And then that way, then we can find out what candidates we have for that election coming up. Any further action that anyone would like to see for that commission meeting? Anything in particular, since that's the time we bring all the commissioners together? I do think something I will ask of Donnie that hits upon, and I know I applaud Joe. I know he's always going to gently poke on the compliance, but we need someone. We need someone to do that. So I do appreciate it. I think we've had before, and I think having a nice rundown of where we stand, because there are different levels. And frankly, I acknowledge that Indiana is not in NIMSKID, which has been a source of pain for me as, being chairperson, but also as a commissioner. And we are working on that. And I think that is one level that we have a few states on. We have a few that have technology issues. that are kind of hit a wall and not sure what they're doing. And then we have a couple that are frankly kind of radio silent. And so I think those tiers, it's important to understand them to decide how we continue to engage them. And if they are not willing to be engaged, kind of what's the next step? Do we try to force their hand by going higher up, which is usually the next practice? Or do we have to look at, and we obviously would never want to get drastic at looking at options like removing and such, because we want to have everyone in there, but yet you aren't really in there if you just pass the statute and aren't active. So I think it'd be good to have a rundown of where everyone stands, since that's the last quarter of the year. So I apologize. I guess technically it's not in the last quarter. It's the Q3 meeting, but it'll be our last full commission meeting of the year. So that'll be my game plan to get with him on that. So anything else anyone would like to see there? Okay, we're up to partner updates. I believe that our only partner on is Nasimso with DIA. Anything you would like to add? If you are talking, you are muted, or she may be on a phone call. I cannot think of anything as my weird dual roles as the president-elect. I can't think of anything. Joe, can you think of anything to share from the Simso side? Okay, so that's our partner updates. And so we are at the end of our meeting. Does anyone have anything else that they'd like to add? Okay, again, we will meet October 8th. Will be our next executive committee. We'll meet then. We do intend to have a run through of the rules. Teams froze for DIA. So we will have our update of the rules with Joe and kind of present it for the exec committee. Keep in mind, usually what I request, it's not a requirement, but I usually ask that the executive committee review, make recommendations, or even consider endorsing the committee's action, just to kind of help guide the full commission, since sometimes we have more time and take that look. So please pay attention to those, and we'll have a good discussion. And then November 5th will be that date. And again, we'll get out information on the elections for vice chair and secretary. I will go ahead and show us adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for participating, and we'll see you.
Have a great day.
Thanks, Greg. See ya.
Thank you.